Hello, Year 7. Welcome to lesson 4. Hope you're okay. Hope you're staying safe, and hope you're coping okay at home. So we're looking at velocity time graphs today. And before we start, you've got the option. All you need is either a pen and a paper, or a whiteboard something to write on. If you've got the sheets from the Show My Homework Prints Off, brilliant. If you haven't, do not worry. It's all going to be in this PowerPoint. So again, all you need is a pen, some paper to write on, or the sheets if you've got them. So let's get straight into some retrieval practice. Your first slide's on the board now. So again, pause the video, off you go. So how'd you get on? Okay, check your answers now. If you struggled, revise a little card. If not, let's move on to the next slide. So the next slide is separating mixtures again. Pause the video, off you go. So check your answers now. How'd you get on? Again, if you need to pause the video and revise, do feel free to. And the final slide is on acceleration, last lesson's work. Again, pause the video, retrieve, off you go. So how'd you get on? Have a little look now. Again, check your answers. I'm sure this is fresh in your mind, should be really strong. Revise, make a revision card if you need to. And that is all for retrieval. So at the end of last lesson, we did some slot on acceleration. You had 10 questions to answer. Here are the answers. Check them now. How'd you get on? The last few were tough. I spent a little time on those ones, make sure I did them right as well. Go through them. If you struggle, then do message your teacher, message myself, and we'll come through them. Otherwise, really well done. Great effort so far. So today, we're looking at velocity time graphs. So I'm just going to pull onto your slide here, and this is the sheets that I made for you. If you haven't got this printed off, do not worry. Just make some notes for me, and we'll go through them, and you can write down somewhere, okay? So velocity time graphs. It is very similar to distance time graphs, but this time, instead of the distance on the y-axis, you've got velocity. So it says here, the first question, what does a gradient velocity time graph tell you? It tells you the acceleration. So we need to be able to work this out. We'll do this later. Again, we are confident gradient. We've done it before, but it's reflecting on it. Number 2, a horizontal line. This tells us when something is traveling at a constant velocity. Okay, so if something is traveling at a constant velocity, it will have a horizontal line on a velocity time graph. The area on a velocity time graph tells us the distance traveled. So we can do a little bit of maths here and actually find out distance traveled from a velocity time graph. So those are the 3 key knowledge there. Have a look at the graph and I put it into practice. So here's one that I made up for you. So again, the upwards line here, number 1, okay, the journey between here and here, they are accelerating. So acceleration. Okay. If we look at the horizontal line, so you can see the accelerator got faster and faster and faster, and then it's leveled off here. Because the velocity is not changing, they are traveling at a constant velocity. So when you see a horizontal line, it is a constant velocity. We've got another upwards line here. So again, their velocity is increasing, so they are accelerating again. So we're going to put here acceleration. Now, you hopefully may notice that this line is not as steep as this line, so therefore the acceleration is a bit slower. They're getting faster, but not as quickly as at the start. And finally, we've got a downwards line here. Now, you'll notice the velocity is getting slower and slower until eventually they've got no velocity. So actually, they are decelerating. So decelerating. Okay. So again, that are the 4 key things you need to know from a graph. And the final bit of new knowledge before we have a little break and embed this is actually calculating what is the acceleration in the first 10 seconds. Now, remember, acceleration is equal to the gradient. Now, if you remember back to Aaron's topic, to calculate the gradient, we do the change in y divided by the change in x. So therefore, if we look, velocity has gone from 0 all the way up to 60. So the change in velocity is going to be 60. The change in x is between 0 and 10. So it's 60 divided by 10. So the answer, the gradient is 6. And because we know gradient equals acceleration, it's 6 meters per second squared. Okay, so that is how you calculate acceleration from velocity time graph. So take a moment now, 5 or so minutes, embed your key knowledge. Okay, pause the video, off you go. So the last thing I'm going to do with you, okay, is doing a work example with you. So hopefully you have got this question here, okay. Okay, question 8. Now, if you haven't got it, if you haven't printed off, do not worry. Just work with me on the sheet here. And it's got 2 questions to answer. You'll notice it asks you, first of all, calculated deceleration and then distance travel. So these are the 2 skills you need to be able to take away from this lesson. So after I've gone through this, you're going to have lots of practice on this, but let's do number 1 first, A first together. So it says, calculate the rate of deceleration between 7 and 10 seconds. Now, if we look, here is 7 and there is 10. So we can see they've gone from 3 meters per second all the way down to 0. So the change in velocity, okay, so I'm going to write it over here. So change in velocity is equal to 3 to 0, and the time taken, so t, time, is 1, 2, 3. Now, if you remember from last lesson, the acceleration is equal to change in velocity divided by time. Acceleration will be equal to 3 divided by 3. So the answer is 1 meter per second squared. So again, you're doing the gradient using the equation. It's stuff you've done before. Right, this is a new bit here. So calculate the distance traveled. Now, if you remember from our own lesson, we said distance traveled is equal to area under the graph. Now, you can't calculate the area of that shape there. But what we can do is if we split this into 2 shapes, we've got a rectangle and a triangle, we can calculate the area of each of these because they're 2 unique shapes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw out my 2 shapes over here. So do this with me. So you've got your rectangle and you've got your triangle. We'll do one at a time. So the rectangle, we can see along the bottom, it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 seconds long. So I'm going to put here, it's 7 seconds long. And it's also 1, 2, 3 high. So therefore, we're going to put a 3 there. Now the area of a rectangle, hopefully you don't know some math, is actually base times height. So 3 times 7. So the area of that rectangle is 21. And because it's distance, that's meters. Now the triangle, we do a similar process. Look at the bottom, it's 1, 2, 3 wide. So we're going to put a 3 there. And it's also 3 high. But with the area of a triangle, don't remember, you do base times height, but you divide it by 2 because you've only got the triangle. So therefore, 3 times 3 is 9, divided by 2 gives you 4.5 meters. So 21 meters to the rectangle, 4.5 meters for the triangle. In total, the total distance travelled is going to be 25.5 meters. Now, if you can walk away from this lesson and be able to do those 2 calculations, you have done superbly well. And again, once you got into the maths, it's not too bad, just knowing what to do. And again, my top tip, when you practice in a minute, split it up into small triangles and rectangles or squares, and it makes it so much easier. So if you've got the slop sheet printed off, you are good to get started. Okay, if you haven't, I'll put them on the screen now for you. So, okay, there's your first slot question to have a go at. I'll go through them. So there's 1, similar to what we just did. There's number 2. Have a go at that. So again, we're getting slightly harder as we're going along. Now I'll really make it a bit harder. You've got number 3. You've got 4 questions to answer there. Number 4. And finally, we've got number 5. And if you're feeling really up to it, number 6. So you've got loads of questions to have a go at. Practice, 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 make really good go at it. And then let me know how you get on. Next lesson, we'll go through all of the answers together, making sure you're okay with them. Okay, and really, really checking you get this. And then we've literally finished the topic. So it's all about revision next time. So actually, practice these as much as you can, and then next lesson, revise and make sure you're really confident on this. So before then, do some more retrieval if needed. Okay, don't forget your recall test. Hopefully you've done your first one, your second one online now. Complete that slop I've just shown you, and also share a video of other pre-senders. So have a lovely day. See you soon. Thank you for listening.